So I go new activity, I want to start an empty activity, and I give some name like, okay, I just keep it my activity and finish. It's not doing anything. I just want to show you that this particular here, if I want to start that specific activity, okay, so when we need intent, my intent, and we say that new intent, we say this, and then I say that my activity. Look, when I have already created that activity, it is already coming, and then we say that class, again it's coming at class I entered, so it started the activity. And then we can just say start activity and give my intent. It will start my other activity in the same project to run whatever we want to do in that activity, that we can do. Now the point is, we want to start an activity which is not in the same project. Okay, we want to start some email composing, or maybe we want start our camera to take a photo and then give back the answers. Again, there are two different ways to start an activity. Start an activity or start an activity for result that we will see in our camera part. Okay, so first of all, this is the simplest way. If you want to add, if you want to start your activity, start your activity in the same project. Okay, but now if we look at that, we are saying that we want to create an activity. I just name it as a email activity, and I'm saying that this is an action that I want to perform, action underscore send. And with this, we are designing something. It's an action to send. What we are doing, we are sending this intent to the Android application, to the Android Studio, not Studio, Android operating system, you can say that. Okay, so we are sending this particular intent to the Android operating system, and now what we are designing, we are putting some more information. Action underscore send, it is a generic action that an intent can have, but these extra information that we are putting inside, they will describe, they will decide that what action we need to perform. So what we are putting here, we are saying that in our email intent dot put some extra information, and if we look at that particular put extra information, it always has the name of that information and the value of that information. Understand? Name and value. There are multiple overridden methods which are available over there. So first part is always a name. In that particular first part, we already have defined certain names inside the intent class. From the intent class, I'm saying that extra underscore email, and that ask me some value. And what value I can give here? I can give different values here, but of course here we are talking about the recipients. So email recipients, who can see, it means that we need to provide some valid email addresses. You can give here XYZ. For example, I have given here my email addresses like muhammad.malik@manucore.ac. maybe I can say that XYZ, doesn't matter. That will automatically appear in that particular to box. Okay, I just leave it like this. So we can provide, so what I did, I provide that to whom you want to send the email. Understand? Clear? In the email, extra underscore email, that is the name of the information that we are attaching with this particular intent. Intent, you can say that it is an envelope, and inside that envelope we can put different information. The Android will open that envelope, look at those information, and decide that what action or what application or what type of services this particular intent is asking for. Because we put that extra email, extra subject, the subject of that particular email, extra text, the text that will be appear in the body of that particular email, and if you want to CC that particular email to someone, then you can also select this thing here. Again, you need to provide a valid email address, and then you are telling that what is the type of the information which are inside this particular intent. I'm saying that is a HTML or simple text encoding we am using, so the text is inside it. Okay, and then I'm starting that particular email intent. Okay, I'm just commenting this particular part. Let me run this application, and when I click on that particular email button, then let's see what happens. Okay, what's going on? Okay, my button is here, but you know, when I join that HDMI cable, that screen size is going up and down. So okay, now let me run that particular part again, you know, running my emulator again. Saving the state. Okay, so we go back, run it again. So now it's came email. When I click on the email, it is starting my Gmail, and look at that. From, what is that? Okay, so it is saying that from, I give two different addresses. One was the wrong address, so it is showing me that this is not a good address or something like that. We can delete it. It is also telling me the same information that I put here. Look at that, the subject information here, the subject information, the same information is showing up here, and again the extra underscore text that's showing up here. And if I try to look at the CC, there is no CC coming here. I mean, it should be coming here. We need to see that how we can do, but normally that CC part should be here in this particular part. So automatically filling that particular specifically composed, and then we can just send an email, though it will go. Understand? So if we look at one more thing, that if we look at that, our actual application which we are running, it's still running in the background. Okay, that particular application is still running in the background, and this new application, which is the compose application, is running in the, I'm just discarding that particular email. Okay, and let's go back to my application. It's still running in the background. Okay, so we can shift between these two applications anytime. Fine. So any point till now that you don't understand? We are defining a new intent with a specific action, and then we are putting some extra information in that particular intent envelope, so that the operating system, the Android operating system, will decide at what specific type of action we need to perform. Is it clear? Now we come to our camera. Again, if we look at our, we have this camera button, and inside this camera button we have this on click event, which is like camera button, and we have this particular specific method which will handle that specific camera on click event. So again, I am creating an intent. Now I am saying that media store. If for the media store, if we look at that, we have this particular provider, import android.provider and .media store. So we need to provide. Normally what we do, if we don't provide this thing, it will automatically come here, and if I say alt and enter, it will go and try to fix that particular issue if it can be fixed automatically, like just an import statement needed, it automatically added that particular import statement at the start. Okay, we can do that. So first of all, I am saying that I want to start an intent, and what is the intent type or intent action? I am saying that media store dot action underscore capture underscore image. We have defined a lot of information inside, not I, but in the Android people, the developers, they have already defined a lot of things in those classes, so we can just use them. Okay, so we have specified the action of this particular intent, action underscore image underscore capture, and then I'm saying that if intent dot resolve activity dot get package manager is not equal to null, it means we can find some package manager which is actually can handle that camera. So if that camera exists in that specific part, yes or no. Okay, and if it is so, then we are saying that we are starting the activity for result. If we look at that, we say that start activity. We are not saying that any result that is coming back from the other activity. Okay, so these are the two different ways. So when you say that, for example, I say that you have a project, and then I say that you don't need to submit. So that is a start an activity, and without any result, without any feedback from you.
So are you saying that for you?
No. But the project that we have given you, that is a start an activity for result. We are expecting something back. Okay, so starting an activity, because normally it is not like always that you start other activity and you forget about that. What normally happen in our methods, if we are calling a method, normally it always come back to the same method back again. Okay, sometimes we say that it does not return me anything, but most of the time we say that it will give me some result back. The same kind of a concept that you can say that here. So we are saying that start an activity for result. First part is same, just like our start an activity, the intent itself. We are providing the intent. And the second part, we are defining a constant value. Defining a constant value, and this value has been defined here. Int static value 1. Why we need that particular value? For example, I just give you one example, or maybe this particular activity has started 4 different activities for the result. When this activity 1, activity 2, activity 3, activity 4, send back the result to this activity, then how it will differentiate that this result is coming from the activity 1, 2, 3 or 4? Understand? So this particular request underscore image app capture is a unique number that you will be defining in your current activity, that if it is asking different activities. For example, if I say that this particular activity is like that, and I, instead of start activity for result, and I say my intent, and then I give 2 here, request code. Understand? So for the other activity we decided 1, for this one we decided what we have to be unique, so that when the other activity give back the result, it will also include this specific request code in its result. And based on that particular activity or the request code, we can differentiate that this result is coming from which particular application, which particular activity this is returning back the result. Because maybe we are asking one person to bring me a glass of water, the other person I say that bring me some chips or something, some snacks to eat, Okay. So how I can, okay, I know that this person who bring me the water, actually this water is kind of a request code. I know that, okay, this is coming from this particular person. That particular chips is coming from that particular person. So because I know that from whom I asked these chips. So these chips and water, they are considered as the request codes. To differentiate that I have different workers and I have requested different things to from different works to do from them, so I also have those request code differentiate. Once we have that request code differentiate inside our current activity, which is calling those activities to do some work for and send back the result, so we have this on activity result method. That's again an event. Whenever an activity, the other activity, has sent back the result, it will always be received by this on activity result overridden method. And here, look at that. If we are saying that it receive a request code, it receive a result code, and it receive an intent. Again, the other activity, when it's going to return back the answer, it will create an intent, include that request code and the result code, and send it back. And inside the intent, it can put different data, anything. For example, we are asking the camera activity to capture some screenshot. So what data it can return? It can return me that specific picture back in my, so that data will come from there. For example, from this say that we are say that bundle extras is equal to data.get extra. So we are getting those extra bundle, extra information which are included in the intent out of it and putting in that particular bundle that is extra. And then from that particular extra, we are saying that I want to get the data back. And that data is actually a bitmap of image. Okay, so we are getting that particular image bitmap. And then we are simply saying that show that particular image bitmap in my image view that we have created here. This one. It is empty right now. But once we press this particular button, take a picture, we say select yes, it is okay, it will come back into our application and it will show you. Does it make sense? Anyone who is lacking behind? So again, I just try to, we are creating an intent here, defining the action of that particular intent, and then we are calling that particular intent for some result because we capture that particular picture and we want to show it in our application. Okay, whenever we are starting an application for an activity for result, we have to override that specific method. Override that specific method, that is on activity result. Whenever this activity which I have started take picture intent, that activity has generated the result, take the picture, it will send back. When it will send back, it will be received by this particular on activity result method, in which this particular method will have the request code. The request code will be exactly the same that we have sent earlier, but now if we look at that, we also have this like request code here too. I need to go in and implement few things over there as well, so that we can send back the data from there, from the other activity that my activity data have created. So we can send back the data as well. So we need to go the other way. But this activity is sending back the result, the camera one, and we are making sure that actually our data that is coming back from the other activity is actually belongs to this take picture intent or not. How we can differentiate? Based on this particular specific request code that we have sent with the intent to take the picture. Okay, and we are saying that result is okay. We can define certain things like result is okay, result is not okay, result is null. So we need to make sure that yes, it is an okay, this is coming back, yes, it has taken the picture and it is sending back the data. So we need to make sure we are testing that we are getting a error message from the other activity or we are getting the okay message from the other activity. That is our result code. Okay, so if it is okay, then we are extracting the information, we are getting the data out of that particular intent, which is coming as a, what you can say, that coming as a result from the other activity. Okay, get the extra information inside that particular intent. From that extra we are getting the data. Again, what we put normally, just like I put here, this one, put extra intent dot type. Okay, so similarly the other activity has put those information inside it as a data, and that data is actually the bitmap or the image. We are converting it to the bitmap and putting it into a bitmap object, and that object we are giving as a source, to that particular image view. It will show over there. So let's, it is already running. No, let's run it again. So if we press on the camera button, so it is asking me that you want to take some picture. The reason is that it is not a real camera, it can't show you that real thing. So it's give you, you're trying to like simulate that you have a camera which is like moving around and something like that. If you take a picture here, it say that yes, when you say click on this one, it go back, that picture that you have captured, it will go back to the previous activity, and that activity receive that in this particular part, this on activity result, check the request code, check the result code. If they are both good, it will extract the data out of that particular intent which is coming as a input to this method, and show that particular bitmap or image in that particular image view. Any questions? Confused? Okay,